What's going on, guys? John Hendricks here for Saints News Network, coming at you to recap Saints training camp day one. Before we dive into plenty of action from the first day, just want to give out a shout out to Justin Burgess over at Ben Pro for sponsoring today's show. If you have a business, whether it's employee benefits, comprehensive coverage needed, any type of commercial client out there, give Justin Burgess a call. He will help your business. He handles accounts like NOLA Motorsports and many others on the North Shore and the South Shore. Give him a shout, 504-888-8038. Justin Burgess, Ben Pro, 504-888-8038. Now, let's talk about the Saints. Lots of good information. First day of training camp. It felt like the first day of school. When you look at it, weather was nice. It was kind of cloudy a little bit, or the sun, fell behind the clouds. It was a modest, hot day in New Orleans, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But, for the Saints to start off, the main takeaway, the first thing that I would say to recap from the first day is that 100% attendance for the black and gold. And that's something that Dennis Allen talked about on Tuesday during his press conference, that the expectation was for the team to be 100%, and everybody participate in some form or fashion. So that meant guys like A.T. Perry were out there. That meant guys like Anthony Johnson were out there. And why that's significant is A.T. Perry was on the NFI list coming into training camp. And so for the rookie, he was out there running routes. He was catching footballs, all those fun things. Anthony Johnson, a guy that's on the pup, he did up downs to start practice, after stretches and stuff. Then he is kind of doing some stuff off to the side. But a good sign of this team is the health. And look, it'll change because injuries are a part of the game. But Cesar Ruiz is out there. Trevor Penning was out there. Guys that were coming off of major injuries. That's big. Newcomers, Trey Turner, Jimmy Graham, Max Garcia, they were all out there. Everybody, including Michael Thomas, who looked really good. Jimmy Graham looked good too, but Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Derek Carr, Rashid Shaheed, guys that got hurt and banged up in minicamp OTAs. Rashid was one of those. Nick Saldivari was another one. Everybody was out there. Everybody was doing something. So that's the good news, is to start off with at the Saints training camp. Now, just to paint the picture, we get to see probably about an hour and 10 minutes of practice. In an hour, 10 minutes of practice, I ended up, and if you don't read my work for some reason, just go to Saints News, saints.media for the easy stuff. But this is my page of notes that I got out of an hour and 10 worth of practice. You can see all my chicken scratches and stuff, all that stuff. There's always stuff going on. There's paying attention to formations, paying attention to who's doing what, it's nuances, who's doing stuff off to the side with who, just charting team drills, charting passing, you name it. What's Kendre Miller doing? What are all these things doing? And so, Dennis Allen talked about today, it's really, they had helmets on and they're not, he said, joked kind of like them in underwear with helmets, right? Because there's no pads, they're not in shells and all that stuff yet. It's just kind of like we're out there. Good start though. First day, the cool zone fridge thing, that thing that's like 25 degrees or whatever it is. For Rouse's is out there too. So the stage is set, camp set up, ready for fans to come back in when things hit on Friday. But, look, setting the scene and the expectations, things look good. Derek Carr looked good today. I think Rashid Shaheed looked good. Chris Olave had some really good connection with Derek Carr, something that kind of carried over from minicamp OTAs and such. And so Derek Carr feels really comfortable about where things are at right now. Some guy that I was really interested in seeing a little bit of is Peyton Turner. Made a good run stop today, put some pressure on that blew up a screenplay today. I mean, you got to weigh a little bit of those and temper a little bit of the expectation, just because the simple fact is there are just so much things that are going on out there, and they're not in full pads, so you don't get the full effect yet, but it is coming. But looking at some of these other observations for today, look, it started great with team drills. Thomas was the first option for Derek Carr. Paulson Adiobo gets a really good pass breakup over there, comes out, they do some run plays, do some pass plays. They usually get set the stage just to explain to some people. When they do team drills, in the past, it's been a little bit different, because usually what they did is they would have given, like last year, whoever it was, Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston would get maybe 6 reps. The next guy would get 4. And then the third quarterback, which usually was Ian Book, might get 2. But, they've changed up a good bit, going forward and stuff. So each of them have gotten 4 reps apiece. So you had Carr get 4, then Jameis gets 4, then Jake Haener gets 4. And so out of that, some are runs, some are passes. Charting on the day, Derek Carr only missed 1 pass. Winston only missed 1 pass. He attempted 6, I have on here, and then Carr attempted 5, and then Jake Haener hit all 5 of his completions. So it's just one of those things where, you can get wrapped up in it. It can get you excited. It can get you happy and stuff. I feel really comfortable and happy with where Jake Haener is at personally. I feel like he's got way better vibes than I ever had with Ian Book. He just looks comfortable there. Looks like he knows what he's doing. He's not afraid to take chances. It seems like he's just pulling down things, not just going for the check down, not taking off and screaming when something's there. But, I think it's encouraging. But, look, for me, just watching practice today, it was good to see the defense creating some turnovers, punching the football out. And, Dennis Allen talked about it after practice. At one hand, as a head coach, it's really good to see your defense doing that. And Andrew Dowell knocked out the ball from Juwan Johnson on one of the plays after a completion, and the defense recovered. And then, on the other hand, Dennis Allen saying that we got to be a better team at securing and holding on to the football. So those things matter. Those things are going to be things that get cleaned up, as Dennis Allen will say. And Sean Payton was a big one too. Is you look at the tape, got a lot of things to clean up. You're just going to hear that. And, but as far as the first day goes, a real strong day. Everybody was there. Michael Thomas got his first catch of training camp, full go, like we all anticipated. And what was said on Tuesday by Dennis Allen, catches a good pass from Derek Carr, turns it upfield. Carr talking about just kind of the moment that it was really great to see, and just knowing what Michael Thomas has been through. It's exciting time for the Saints. I think on paper, they have a very strong team, very underrated team that people are going to start coming around on a little bit more. But you're going to see just some of these things develop. I mean, there's so much competition at a lot of these, spots, that kicker competition, punter competition, interior defensive line, can they generate enough pass rush? The pass rush department, a linebacker who's emerging that's going to take that Caden Ellis type of role, who's going to win the cornerback battle opposite of Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, there are just so many of them on the offensive side, wide receiver, and we're going to get a lot of those questions answered. You're not going to get anything out of day one of training camp. That's just not how it is. But, some of the things that you see, you can take with a grain of salt. Not everything you can take with a grain of salt, but it's just good to be back covering football, bring it to you for Saints News Network, and then obviously putting these videos together to just kind of give you a sense and recap. Got bigger visions with this. We might do some live stuff and everything. But again, this is a training camp takeaways for day one. Is this team 100% healthy right now? Everybody out there on the field. We'll see if that changes for tomorrow. But good first step in the right direction for players like Michael Thomas, Trevor Penning, Cesar Ruiz, all those types of guys, A.T. Perry, Anthony Johnson, just being out on the field, Nick Saldiveri, plenty more coming on Saints News Network, Saints.media for those who don't follow already, or si.com/NFL/Saints. Let me try that again. It's down there at the bottom too, I think, Saints.media, si.com/NFL/Saints. Thanks again to Justin Burgess over at BenPro for sponsoring today's show. Plenty more coming where this came from. John Hendricks signing out, guys.